another Saturday here in New York City, the Big Apple. I should say Jamaica Queens, give me a shout out, everybody. Another Saturday here in New York City, the Big
Oh, we
Apple.
got a little feedback.
Feedback, we got a little
That's okay.
feedback. That's all right. Shout out, everybody. So you're here with Lady Pauline, and you're here with Mr. Glenn Greenwich. We got to. Okay, the feedback is gone. Thank goodness. All right, so let's start. Happy New Year to everybody. I know we've been off for about 2 weeks, and I want to say welcome back, my audience. You're here with our World Hour Power Show. I'm Lady Pauline, and my co-host, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, the Honorable Mayor of Southern Boulevard, and we have a special guest today, a co-host guest, and her name is
Africa. Welcome to
Africa.
the show.
Welcome.
How you
Welcome.
doing?
I'm great. I love what you're doing. WGJS Radio. Please
Okay.
stay in tune with them.
Yes. Thank you for being here. But before we get started, I'd like to say thank you to our sponsor, the Chocolate Loft. That's right here on Southern Boulevard. It's a beautiful venue if you want to have a party, bar mitzvah, wedding, whatever. And they're located at 113-10 Southern Boulevard. And the gentleman's name is Charles. If you need to contact him at 929-504-9200, right here in the heart of Queens, in South Jamaica, Queens.
And it's a great location. It's got a backyard, so when the weather gets warmer, you'll be able to have something in the backyard or upstairs, so dual floor. So definitely check them out. But without further ado, let's bring on our special guest, Tracy Campbell, coming to us live from Chi-Town in Chicago. Welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome.
I was looking over your bio last night, and it is awesome. I cannot believe that you have accomplished all these great things. Can you tell
Thank
me a
you.
little bit about Beauty In and Beauty Out?
Bibo.
Absolutely.
Bibo.
Absolutely. So proud of this journey. Again, thank you for having me, and so proud to be able to share what we do through Bibo. Again, it does stand for Beauty In, Beauty Out. And we started as an award show, a nonprofit organization with an award show to honor phenomenal women who are beautiful outside as well as inside, and really focus though on the great work that they do throughout various communities. And we started right here in Chicago, October 27th of 2013, and it was amazing. And we ended up taking the show on the road, literally, to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, Atlanta, and then back to Chicago. And we did that for 5 years straight, honored over 100 or more women, various industries, entertainment, journalism, medicine, volunteerism, education. I could go on and on. And we hope to resurrect the Bibo Awards as soon as possible, either in later this year or 2023. We're hoping to bring it back.
Okay, sounds wonderful. What made you start this type of program?
A number of reasons. One of the main reasons, to be honest, is that we had a nonprofit prior, 501c3 prior to Bibo, which was called the C.H.A.M.P Community Project. And I wrote a book and workbook program back in 2009 that was really geared towards helping single parents. I come from a single parent struggling home, like a lot of young people and that are dealing with this right now. And I wanted to do something to honor my mother's legacy. I also wanted to do something that spoke directly to young people growing up in that type of situation and speaking to them about their very specific experience. That turned into the C.H.A.M.P Community Project, a 501c3, and throughout the 7 years that we did that work all together, we talked to a lot of different people in a lot of different areas. And the women that we encountered usually had a common denominator, and that was that they felt lesser than, or they felt put upon, or they felt that they were going through this journey alone. A lot of them were very insecure. There were so many things that are very unique to a female's experience. And so we thought that Beauty In, Beauty Out is very much needed to celebrate women from all walks of life, all backgrounds, all shapes and sizes, if you will. And really edify and bring to light some of the great things that they're doing in their local communities that they don't get a chance to get the shine that they deserve.
That's so empowering and uplifting. How did you select the women? How did you choose them? Because I'm sure there's lots and lots of women that fit that description in our community.
Absolutely. So we went through the first year that we did it. We actually went through more of a vetting process where we promoted and we publicized that, hey, we're looking for nominations for women that are excelling in these various industries, these various verticals. And we wanted to hear their story. It's all about the story. We wanted to
Sure.
hear their story. And we were inundated with all sorts of nominations and stories and backgrounds. And so a committee, I was not on that committee. We wanted to keep it very democratic, if you will. We had a committee of folks that had to basically go through all of these submissions, and we narrowed it down to about 14 women, I believe, that first year. The second year, we used the same process, but by the time we got to the third year, we instituted more of a voting platform, which was interesting to say the least. A lot of social media buzz, a lot of media attention that at that point in time came upon the project. And it was just amazing what we were able to do, which was essentially an idea in my head in early 2012. And to see it become something that's real and tangible was absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
I like that. Africa?
I have one question, if I missed it. What personal obstacles did you go throughout your life that led you to wanting to support musical artists and, small businesses that you do? Like, is it something personal that you went through that's like, I want to be the CEO or be in this position to, make this movement happen with musical artists and support small businesses? And I know you focus more on women, women empowerment. So what obstacles you went throughout life to lead you to that?
Oh, a few things. When it comes to the mission of Beauty In, Beauty Out, I was just like any other young girl growing up, especially in a single parent environment, a struggling single parent environment, a lot of insecurities, a lot of feeling like I wasn't good enough or needed to do more or needed to prove myself, feeling insecure about all of that, external and internal, like most young girls. And so for me to see that we're able to bring that level of confidence and validation, if you will, to some amazing women and young girls through our mentorship program is really personally satisfying for me, because mentors really helped me to flourish and realize all the things that I was insecure about that I probably didn't need to be insecure about. And when all was said and done. So that takes a village. It takes mentorship. It takes people rallying around young people. So that's one thing. When it comes to musical artists, again, I grew up as the baby of 6 kids, and they are older than me. So when I was coming up, I loved music. I listened to the radio all the time, and I didn't have a playmate, so I spent a lot of time reading, studying, and then music. Loved music from as long as I can remember. And so for me to be able to create a platform for other small businesses to have a way to promote themselves and to make their brand, get their brand out there, if you will, to bring more awareness. But at the same time, I thought, there are so many folks that I've met that are extremely talented in this journey. They do not get the recognition, the airplay, the support. I know folks whose music really, honestly, should be way more known than it is. And it kind of infuriates me that we're listening to some things on the radio in my that maybe don't
It's
belong
another
there.
conversation right there. It's about promotion, who you know, and the knowledge as well. So I think that's where you come in with the mentoring, giving knowledge that some people didn't have, and you probably got knowledge from others, that you probably didn't have. And like I said, with the music of being played, I feel like it's multiple things, and the main thing is knowledge and who you know. So I appreciate what what you're doing.
Well, since we're talking about knowledge, I know that you have an extensive educational background. What would you say from your education and then also from your consulting is the second part of that question. How did all of those things help you in your business acumen, and what would you recommend now looking back for younger folks to explore in some of those practices and disciplines?
Absolutely. I thank you for that question. We are in a day and age right now, and I see this a lot, where if you're able to read a couple of books or if you're able to present yourself in a certain way, you're deemed an expert.
Hmm.
And folks begin to follow you. And that's very dangerous because to really be an expert or to really master something, you have to spend more than just a few hours reading a couple of books or listening to a couple of webinars and then basically just regurgitating what you just heard, right? You really need to have the experience, the education, and all those other things that go along with being a little more seasoned. So for me, the education, the years in consulting, making mistakes, starting a business, not always making the best business decisions, and having to figure out how to clean that up, if you will. That takes time. It takes experience. It's more than just reading a couple of books and a few articles. So, for me, when we are consulting with a small business client, or if we are talking to someone that wants us to help promote them or advertise them or put them out there. These are some of the things that we get out the way right off the bat because, again, I want to make sure that we're not only promoting and representing and mentoring individuals that truly do have a level of expertise and passion about what they do, but we don't want to send a message out there and perpetuate this syndrome of pseudo experts and pseudo entrepreneurs, if you will. So that's something that we are very big on education, or at least being in the process of acquiring the right education for your platform.
Uh, Tracy, you know what I would like to talk about is since you do the mentoring piece, is the fact that these days there's a lot of young women that are suffering from depression,
Yes.
and they're in show business, or they're in some type of the limelight, and I don't think that the young women of today are prepared for what's ahead of them as far as working in the business, all the facts of the ups and the downs of quote unquote show business. And I was wondering if you addressed those issues in your mentoring program.
Absolutely. It's a dangerous business in a lot of ways. It's a dangerous business. Going back to Baltimore, and going back to when I was a young woman, young girl, I had a choice between going into the sciences or going into journalism. And it started with uh, actually being sent to modeling school and all those things to basically acquire jobs that helped out my mom. She was a struggling single mom. I did some early print work, and all of that may sound glamorous, but the danger is that if I didn't have a strong parent and then
Hmm.
subsequently a strong mentor, uh, things could have gone terribly wrong, terribly wrong. When you're dealing with anything connected to those industries, I ended up choosing the sciences as my ultimate degree choice. I ended up in journalism and media later when I was again more mature and able to handle it.
Mm.
And along the way, I have so many stories I could share of young girls that are beautiful girls, and because of that beauty, because of that, they're put in positions where they may or may not be mature enough to handle the situation and how to get out of it and so forth. So, um, mentorship for us is something that we want to approach holistically, making sure that we're talking about not only their grades, not only what it is that they purpose to do in their career path and business and so forth. When we're talking to older women, usually we're talking about more of a business topic. Younger girls, we're talking about school and grades and preparing them for college and so forth. But especially those that, and I get this question all the time about going into some form of media, and that's a conversation I don't take lightly because I know what could happen. I know it could have happened to me
Mm.
when I was younger and doing the things I was doing at that time. And again, I had a strong mom and I had mentors around me to kind of protect me in that whole realm.
Yeah.
Would you say that choosing science and specifically computer science helped your analytic ability later on in life?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Is it as glamorous as going the journalism route or taking the modeling print work, if you will, and expounding upon that? No, no, it wasn't. But I think it was absolutely the right thing to do at that time. And the reason I say that is because even today, there aren't a lot of women in technology. There
True.
certainly aren't enough women of color in science and technology. And I can't believe I'm saying that because from the time I started to now is several years. And I would have hoped that by now you would see more people that look like me
Yeah.
in technology, and you don't. So I think it was the right choice. I think it afforded me the ability to hone more of my analytical skills and use that as something that I think is a huge contribution that women, especially women of color, are not revered enough for their intellect. In my opinion, we're not revered enough for our the contributions that we can give on those levels when it comes to science or technology or business in general. So I'm glad that I was pushed in that direction more so. And ironically, the media and the journalism and all those things came later, unbeknownst to me. But I think the right thing to do, and I'm so grateful for it, is that I was pushed to go in the direction that I did.
And
Speak.
would you
Yeah.
say that your mom was the influence, or the people around you in your community had you choose the science and what we're now calling the STEM curriculum in the school system?
Absolutely. It definitely started with my mom. It definitely started with her. I think she saw that all these other things I was doing at the time, again, uh, it was great to talk about. It was great to have been a part of, but she was looking further down the road and looking at, hey, what's going to be more stable
Hmm.
for my daughter, my child in the long run? What's going to really afford her more stability, especially coming from a background that, financially we were not in a stable situation. So I'm so grateful that I was pushed in that direction. So it started with my mom. Later, came the community. The president of well, at that time, he was vice provost. He is now president of University of Maryland, Baltimore County, UMBC. And I had the good fortune of being able to get his ear personally from time to time. And I cannot thank him enough. He told me in his office one day, he said, you know what? You're in a really blessed situation. You
Mm.
have a lot of attributes, internally and externally, he said to me. Use them all and use them in a way that's productive. And at the time, I sort of understood what he meant. I wasn't 100% because I was still young. Looking back now, he was absolutely right, and
You're
I'm so glad
blessed
I took that right. Yeah,
from what
so
you've done.
glad I
Yeah.
took that advice. So it started with mom, and then came more of the community, mentors, counselors at school. Later on the road, consulting. Here comes other mentors in my field. And even to this day, I have two ladies right now that I revere as mentors, and I'm still learning. We're all a work in progress. I'm still learning something new all the time.
That's nice. So you would go on to say your mom and the community is your main, I would say, role model that led you
Cool.
into being a mentor for others, like the position that
Absolutely.
you're in right now. Okay,
Absolutely.
that's nice.
Absolutely. If it weren't for my mother was a phenomenal woman, but she was not formally educated. She did not have
Yeah.
opportunities to do some of the things that I've been blessed and others that I know have been blessed to do. And so she was able to provide a certain level of protection and a certain level of insight and all those things. But it was during post college and having other mentors that were not related to me, but took on that role of mentor and eventually became like second moms, that
Mm.
I really flourished in my career. And so that's something that I never forgot about and wanted to one day be able to be in the same position to give that to some other young girls, especially young girls that grew up like I did.
Hmm.
Yeah.
I like.
Now, Now, I wanted to elaborate just a little bit about the awards program that you give out awards to. What are some of the things that you're looking for when you are looking to give an award to a young person, a young woman?
So the Bibo Awards was started with not the young ladies in mind per se. It was started with women um, from all backgrounds, all walks of life that don't get the recognition they deserve. And then
Mm.
we developed a category specifically. We call them our starlets. Our starlets are young women under the age of 25. They can range from age, well, actually, our youngest recipient was 12 years old at the time that she received her award in Atlanta, Georgia. She started her own um, fashion line,
Wow.
and she came from a line of seamstresses. Her great grandmother, her grandmother, her mother, and now her. And that line took off in the Atlanta area. And from what I understand, she's doing very well with it. She was 12 at the time that she received her award. So she was our youngest recipient, I think, to date. Another young lady out in Las Vegas, another starlet, she was slightly older, not by much. She started making wigs for
Ooh.
young girls who were going through cancer and losing their hair.
Oh, wow.
Mm.
Mm.
So I can go on and on. Some of the stories through the Bibo Awards are just absolutely phenomenal. So those are our two youngest recipients. Our oldest recipient, who is not a starlet, but she's called we call it our Legacy of Beauty.
Hmm.
And our oldest Legacy of Beauty recipient is Elaine here in the Chicagoland area, who is now 86 years young. And she is phenomenal. And she created a company around, believe it or not, trains as
Oh,
in model trains. And
wow.
Hey,
the
that's random.
estate, the estate they live on is phenomenal. The trains, I can't even do it justice by describing it. You just have to see it. It's absolutely, you feel like you're in an amusement park. It's absolutely amazing. She has an
Ooh.
engineering background,
Mhm.
and she was able to construct a lot of this and do this for other companies. So again, women in science, absolutely powerful. And again, she's 86 years old. And so at the time that she was doing this, she was truly a trailblazer.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. That's an awesome story. Now, you have done so many different things in your life, Tracy. Tell me, what haven't you done yet that you would like to do?
Oh, that's a great question. What haven't I done that I would like to do? Um, I think right now I would say I would like to take what we currently do and expand it. If we could replicate all the things that we've done, all the things that I've just talked about, and go over to a country or area like Nairobi, Kenya, or an area maybe even further than that, parts of India, and literally
Ooh.
replicate what we do now. And the reason I say that is because when we were doing work in Nairobi, Kenya through C.H.A.M.P, it is a very it's heartbreaking when you see how they live, and the majority of the folks that live in Nairobi, how they actually live. When we go on vacation to the Bahamas or to Freeport and the places we're staying in resorts, when you get outside of that area, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I would love to be able to do what we've done and take this into areas like that and begin to support, edify, and give those young people, especially young women, advantages that they probably didn't even dream about or
Mm.
thought was possible. That would be an amazing thing to do. I should add it to my bucket list. That would be an amazing thing to do at this point in time.
Yeah.
Well, it's interesting. I've been to Nairobi, Kenya myself, and I concur with the level of poverty and the luxury that we live in that we're graced with and take for granted. I know that
Mm-hmm.
I did, and it was really um, it was really just hard for me to realize how gifted and luxurious my life was compared to what they had to go through. With this modern technology, this may be a way to actually bridge those kind of gaps and be able to expand. Because one of the conversations I actually was going to ask you is how did you happen to expand to Atlanta and to Las Vegas and some of the other areas that you did nationally, and then of course maybe there may not be that hard of a thing to now traverse the continent and some of those areas as well.
Absolutely. I thank you for that question. It's funny. I've been in technology a long time, and I will say this, some people may disagree with me, but I strongly believe that there is still nothing more powerful than word of mouth, than that human connection, that human promotion, if you will. So, and the reason I say that is that when we went from Chicago to Las Vegas, that was the first city on our stop when we were doing the awards. So we went from Chicago to Vegas. That was partly because of some of the footage that was out there online and folks could see and so forth. But it was mostly because folks started talking about it.
It seems more personal when you talk too, I feel.
Yes. Yes. And that's how we actually ended up in Vegas. It had nothing to do with technology. It had everything to do with folks having the conversation and reaching out to us, and it afforded us to get out there. And then it just kind of went from there. But I totally agree. We are in a technological age, unlike any other time in history. And this is the time to take advantage of the technology to allow us to go into some of these regions that we probably wouldn't be able to do 20 years ago. But word of mouth is a very powerful thing. And the written word is still very powerful. And because of those two things is how we were able to expand even more so than the technology.
Okay.
That's amazing.
That's good. That's
I have one personal question based off of Glenn, what he said that led you get into all these things and traveling. This is personal. It's kind of off because I want to know. I seen your history of people you interviewed. Let me record this. I'm at WGJS Radio. We on the station with Traci S. Campbell, and I personally want to know, how did you get in contact with Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent? How did you do that? Because I met a lot of celebrities and worked with them, and no offense, I've yet met the people I feel like I really want to meet. How did you do that? It's amazing. He is hard to get to, so you must be doing something.
Well, I say I must be living right. I must be living right. Okay, that's a great question. Thank you. And it kind of goes right along with what I just said about word of mouth and the power of it. Okay, yes. So we have been doing what we've been doing now for a few years, and I've been very, very fortunate to interview some very interesting people, celebrity and non-celebrity, across the board. And so one day, a member of my team said, "Hey, they loved all the shows on Stars. I don't get a chance to watch Stars all the time." And they said, "Hey, there's a new show and so-and-so's on it and yada, 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 and 50 Cent." And I said, and I just literally said off the cuff, well, if we can get a hold of someone over there, and we can angle it towards our content, I do no problem. But I didn't think that it was going to go anywhere. I really didn't. And fast forward maybe, I'm going to say maybe a little over a month later, a member on our team say, "Hey, guess what? The co-producer with 50 Cent, Randy Huggins, would love to do an interview with you. Would love." And I said, "Really?"
Oh,
and I
my
said,
mouth.
"Really?" And it just went from there. And Randy and I thought, okay, usually when you're dealing with celebrities, you're usually under a very limited time, very limited time. Yes. So you go in thinking this is going to be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 20 if I'm really lucky. I ended up having an hour and 15 or 20 minute interview with Randy. Wow. He gave me a lot of time that morning that we did it. Of course, on the show, we are only able to condense it down to about 10 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes on the actual show, but we're going to repurpose a lot of that content. And he gave me so many backstories, we could go on, and he works with 50 Cent literally every single day next to each other. And so we're trying to see if I can, roll the dice again and see if I can get Tasha Smith and some of the other women that are on the show that are powerful, and maybe even 50 himself. But I know he saw the interview. I know he knows that Randy and I did this marathon interview. I do know that much. And so we will see what happens from there.
Yes, you did it.
That's awesome. We're going to take a commercial break, but I want to remind you what you said just a couple minutes ago. Uh-oh. The power of word.
Law of
Okay,
attraction. Sorry, I don't know.
so
There you
bringing it into fruition. Speaking it into existence. But right now, we're going to take a commercial break and pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. Talk to doctor now and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it. Gonna get it, gonna slip it, gonna cuff it. Check it, talk to doctor and share it.
Get it, slip it, cuff it, check it. High blood pressure silently affects millions of Americans. Staying on top of your blood pressure is as simple as these 4 easy steps. Self-monitoring is power. Visit manageyourbp.org to learn more.
What do we do?
You may not be able to plan ahead for a ghost encounter,
Under the dining table now!
but you can plan ahead for natural disasters. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts.
Maybe it's the apocalypse.
Know your evacuation routes and decide on a safe emergency meeting location.
Here? I know. I want to pick to Orlando.
Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. So pass the Proton Pack to the next generation and visit ready.gov/plan to get started.
Are you looking for a taste of the South? Well, honey, come on down to Carolyn's. We have fried chicken, catfish, whiting, barbecue beef ribs, mac and cheese, and some collard greens, freshly made desserts, and much, much more. We're located at 2564 Hempstead Turnpike in East Meadow. Order online at carolyns.kitchen and receive 5% off your first order.
Ever hear the one about the frog? Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach. When times get dark, we can't see the help that's all around us. Let 211 be your guiding light for mental health and other resources. Call 211 or visit 211.org.
Make sure to download the WGJS Radio app from the Apple Store or from the Google Play Store.
Back with Our World Power Show, and our guest today, Ms. Tracy Campbell. It's so wonderful talking with you. I have a question. What would you say to your younger self today?
What would I say to my younger self? Well, knowing what I know now, I would say not to second guess myself as much as I did when I was younger. I think there are things that, lucky for me, other people were able to give me that boost or that confidence until I was actually able to realize it myself. And if I were talking to my younger self, I would say, cut yourself some slack, realize, and it's okay to talk about the things that you're good at, or to talk about the things and appreciate things that you have in by the way of talent and blessings, and not feel ashamed. Because for a long time, even now, I'm somewhat uncomfortable at times to self-promote. But I have a team of people around me that assist with that. But if I were talking to my younger self, I would say to let go of that a little more and understand the difference between confidence and arrogance. And I think oftentimes people don't understand there's a huge difference between confidence and arrogance. And I thought for the longest time that if I said too much or pat myself on the back, if you will, or expounded upon some of the things that I know to do or can do, and so that it would come across as narcissistic and arrogant. So I was just quiet. And but again, I was surrounded by people that were more vocal than I was at that time. And then, of course, over the course of time, that confidence really began to take root. And it's a whole different world when you know what real confidence is and not confuse it with arrogance.
You know, that's so important for our development. Are there any practices, meditation, listening to music, quiet time? Are there any practices that you do to support yourself, to empower your inner being?
For me, and everyone's different. So for me, it is prayer time.
Got it.
That is my way of meditating. When we talk about meditation, sometimes people think, oh, you're sitting in the middle of a room saying om om to a candle. You if that's what you choose to do, fine. There's nothing wrong with
Sure.
that. But there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I translate that into prayer time, and that really has been the thing that has really gotten me through a lot of tight spots. Financially, business wise, personal wise, you name it. So for me, that's the first thing. And then the second thing, which I've been slacking on, I admit everyone lately, is the exercise. Because for me, when I exercise on a regular basis, I can tell the difference, not just physically, but mentally and otherwise, stress levels and otherwise. So those two things are the things that help me cope. And everyone's different. Some people have a more specific activity. Maybe it's sewing, maybe it's knitting, whatever that is. We have to, and I've learned this the hard way. Panic attacks and all, I had to learn that it is okay to take a break and step away from your business or your passion project and take some me time. And it took me a while to realize that, and had to end up in situations that I probably wouldn't have ended up in if I had taken that me time to de-stress.
Sorry to interrupt. This probably has nothing to do with what you say, but I feel like it does. Sometimes doing nothing is doing something. It's actually doing a lot. So I'm going to just say that. You can take from what you take from that.
No, you are absolutely right. Sometimes just being still. Just
because
being
you
still.
think you feel guilty of standing still or maybe taking a break from your business, or you probably are so hard on yourself. Like, I can't stop. I'm doing nothing. Maybe those 4 days you're gathering other ideas or maybe another plan for your future you don't even know from doing nothing, So.
Absolutely. I agree wholeheartedly. But again, that's a hard lesson for driven people to learn. It sounds so simple. It does.
I just learned that now. Yeah.
Lesson. It's a hard lesson. So don't be like me, everyone, and actually end up in situations where maybe you didn't have to end up in order to learn that lesson. So I'm trying to do a little bit better with that.
Would you take some time and differentiate your worldwide Bibo versus your weekly? Because you've got two different platforms within your company, within your infrastructure, and give us a little idea of the differences and the impact.
Absolutely. BIBO Worldwide is our for-profit entity. Okay. So it's an LLC. So BIBO Worldwide is where you find our media platforms, which is Bibo Weekly, which is a talk show that was produced here in studio here in Chicago, and Winner Circle, Bibo Weekly's Winner Circle, which is our brand new offering. We were approached by Women Network. It's a brand new network for women, 24/7 content, and they asked us to do a kind of an at-home version of Bibo, really more of a teaching platform. So all of those are media projects. B-Zone, our radio show, AM/FM radio show and podcast, all of that is media driven. In addition to that, any type of services that we provide to help small businesses, whether it's SEO, website development. I do one-on-ones with individuals that really want to present themselves better. They have fear of speaking in front of people and so on and so forth. Those type of things fall under that side of the house. So that's Bibo Worldwide. All the things that are for profit. Bibo Foundation is our 501c3. That's all of the work with Bibo Awards, the C.H.A.M.P mentorship program, hopefully our grant program that we're trying to get off the ground. All of that falls under the nonprofit or 501c3 side of the house.
Thank you for that, and thank you for highlighting. I've talked about this previous shows, but the genius of having a for-profit and a not-for-profit, so that you can merge the two in terms of grants and profitability, and distinguishing that within the same under the same umbrella.
Absolutely,
So, yeah.
absolutely. There's a lot of advantages to being able to have both entities, and one of which being just tax implications. I know we don't have enough time to probably go into all of that right now, but just tax implications alone, very advantageous when you can have a for-profit entity and a nonprofit entity. Yes, they need to be, or to exist, I should say, in different sandboxes, if you will.
Yes.
But they can definitely complement each other if done correctly. So that's something that we're very proud of, not only for the community work that we do through the 501c3, but we're proud that we had the insight to differentiate between BIBO Worldwide as a separate legal entity and BIBO Foundation.
Okay. This is why I love people on the business side of you, because people like me, artists, that's like foreign language to me, So, but I'm learning, I'm doing it.
You're learning.
Everything's not for everybody. This is why you get people like Tracy Campbell, Lady Pauline G, Jay Swift.
And it's also about having a team.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that Ms. Campbell has been talking about throughout is having a team. It's so important. You can't have all the ideas yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can't come up
or
with
all the
them.
Knowledge.
But when you have a team specializing in different aspects, you can begin to bring the wealth. Because one of the things that I'm so grateful for is that our community has an abundance of wealth. And wealth isn't just about cash in your pocket. Wealth is about knowing what resources are available in your community and leveraging it and utilizing it. And I think that, and you are a demonstration of the utilization of that. You've been able to do so many things in different cities. You've got the media focus. You've got the ability to support people in expanding and taking their business to the next level. But you also have the local taking care of people and promoting the people that wouldn't normally be out there. So it's just fantastic. Loving this conversation.
Yes.
So appreciate that. I really appreciate you all having me on and allowing me to talk about what we do through BIBO, because it is multifaceted. And Africa, one of the things that I want to say to you is you are a business person. I spent a little time providing projects for interns at the Illinois Media School. And,
really?
Long story short, and I'm so sorry they took this away, and I hope that they bring it back. They took away the classes that were specific to business.
Yes.
And I remember I brought BIBO there as a version of BIBO that was there as a project for the interns to work on. That was about 5 years ago. 3 of those interns are still with me to this day.
Wow. That speaks a lot.
Yeah, it does. And I'm so grateful to them. They're talented, uber talented folks. But my point is that when I was there to help bring a project there so they can actively work on, I had a conversation with the one of the directors, and I expressed my grievance that how can you have a media school where you're putting individuals out there that are going to go into an industry that is more and more and more getting away from W-2 employees, and embracing more and more contractors and independents? How can you, in good conscience, put them out there as graduates and not equip them with what they need to know to be an effective business person? Because they're going to be managing themselves. And guess what? They are walking businesses.
Wow, I love that you said that. That motivated me a little.
Yeah.
So that's
So
nice.
it's so important. It's so important to get that business knowledge, or if you don't have it, get access to it, because some of the media schools are taking that away because of budgets, and that's scary.
I'm not gonna make long of this. I just spoke with this. I try to go to college twice for business, so that's why I just count myself as an artist, not even business, because I feel like that's why I appreciate what you're doing and hearing what you're saying, and about mentoring and the things you do for the community and other people of development, because it's I feel like it's not that much artist development. When I say artist development, in all realms of development of any industry, I feel that way. Maybe I'm wrong, but it seems less of that going on. And so yeah, long story short, I like what you're doing, and I will contact you personally on another time because and I'll bring other artists to you, because some people need to know what things that you're giving out and knowledge. Because I felt ran away from business, from college. I feel like, oh, I'm not even a business person because I didn't go to college. I keep trying, and I feel like, so I'm out here by myself. So long story short, I'm not going to talk long. We are managing ourselves, and I'm glad you said that and put that confidence in me. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
But Africa, you're not out here by yourself anymore.
Yeah,
you got a team now. You got.
I don't want to say that. Let me none personal guess. We're all together. I appreciate that. So.
Yeah, you
keep doing what you're doing, Tracy and Lady.
You're all
and
not
Glenn.
alone. We're running out of time. Can you tell our viewers how to get a hold of you and give out your phone number, your website, everything? All the information?
Absolutely. We tried to make it really easy because we're doing a lot of different things, as you've learned in this conversation today. You can find us very easily at World of Bibo, worldofbibo.com. You can go there, and that will give you a pretty good overview of all the things that we touched upon here today. If you're more interested in possibly becoming a mentor with us or being a supporter in some fashion of our 501c3. Again, we're in the business of mentoring, educating, and hopefully being a grant-giving source very soon to disadvantaged young women. The Bibo Foundation, THEBIBO Foundation.org. And if you want to just connect more personally, more directly on social media, you can reach me directly at I am Traci S. Campbell. I am TRACIS Campbell on Instagram.
Ace. That's what I was about to ask. Instagram.
That's great. Tracy, I just want to thank you so much for the work that you've been doing and you continue to do. And, maybe we could have some kind of chapter or something here in New York to extend what you do, because I think that it's wanted and needed, and let's have some more conversation about going to Africa.
I would absolutely love it. I'm going to hold you to it. Now that you said it in front of everyone, I'm going to hold you to it. You put it out there now. I'm going to hold you to it. But no, I would absolutely love it. I'm an East Coast girl, as you guys now know.
Yes.
Would love to do more work on the East Coast and in that area. So I hope we will have continued conversation.
All right. And thank you again for being on Our World, Our World Power Show. You've been listening to Lady Pauline, Mr. Glenn Greenwich, and Africa.
Yes.
Yeah. So
nice show.
On WGJSradio.com.
And don't forget, if you want to call us, you can call us at 347-410-8077.
And don't forget to like us and subscribe to us on our YouTube channels.
Yes, and they have Instagram. I'm always on their Instagram. People, artists, if you want to tune in, come into Queens, Jamaica, New York, get an interview. We're right here by the train station, bro. The J and the E train. You know what it is? Just follow, WGJS Radio on Instagram. Boom.
All right.
Thanks again, Tracy Campbell.
Thank you.
Thank you.
God bless you.
I followed you on Instagram.
Awesome.
Follow you now, yeah.
Okay, everybody. Catch you all next week, same time, same place. Peace.